What's going on, Jerome's? So one of the topics du jour going around draft right now is, will the Vikings reunite with Kirk Cousins? Now, there's a lot of factors in there, notably the contract, notably the trade compensation. It's not going to be a lot from the Vikings' perspective. They're not going to pay the bulk of the stupid-ass contract. They're especially not going to give up draft capital, but it could be a reverse Osweiler situation. Actually, no, not reverse. It would be a Osweiler situation, because if it's a reverse Osweiler situation, it'd be a normal-ass trade. Right, but the Vikings getting more draft capital to relieve the Falcons of some cap space could be in the mix, right? And it would be only if Kirk Cousins just fully embraces his role as the backup quarterback. He returns to Minnesota. He returns to the friendly confines. He would have to waive his no trade clause. Blah blah blah. So a lot of moving parts. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it would make sense given the Vikings' approach to quarterback 2 this offseason, where it's just like, hey, we have Kirk in our back pocket. This will work. Julie can stay in Georgia. Did you know she's from there? All that stuff. But long story longer, enter Dianna Russini of The Athletic. Now, I'm not trying to rip on Russini, but like their coverage of the Vikings and Aaron Rodgers, it was just abysmal over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. It's just been not great. And, of course, Krasinski, us fanboys, we have to get used to it. Nah. But Russini chimed in on the Kirk Cousins situation. This is what she said. Steelers, Browns, and possibly the Vikings have been involved in trade involving Kirk Cousins, sources say. Minnesota is looked at as the least likely scenario given their preference to favor J.J. McCarthy, and Cousins would need to sign off on any deal he's involved with. So does Kirk actually see himself as a starting quarterback? Because maybe if he goes to the Steelers and Browns, maybe. But that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous at this point. He needs to just embrace the suck. He just needs to be like, hey, I'm a backup quarterback. I'm still getting $27.5 million fully guaranteed to be a backup quarterback. Most of it from the Falcons probably, as well as $10 million guaranteed in 2026. I'm good. I don't need to go out there and have my ass in shotgun and just embarrass myself like I did last year. But given that if my Achilles is good to go, I can be a serviceable backup a long time. Absolutely. Continued. It's believed Minnesota is looked at as the least likely scenario given his preference for J.J. McCarthy, blah, blah, blah. So basically it's like, hey, Kurt, do you want to go to a spot where you might start on bad teams like the Browns? Steelers aren't bad, but they're also not the Vikings. Or does he return to Minnesota and pretty much same thinking as Rodgers? Like, hey, if McCarthy screws up, I could be back in there. I'm back, baby. It's like McCarthy returning to the Philippines, except not like that at all. Also, it's ironic that Douglas McCarthy, J.J. McCarthy, anyways. But it's believed that Cousins would be against any trade that involves sending him to a situation involving a young quarterback, similar to the situation he faced in Atlanta last year. If a trade were to happen, I'd expect it to go down Saturday, day 3 of the draft. So, Kurt isn't just getting handed a starting job. That's not happening, right? I don't think that the Browns would be down to clown with that. I don't think the Steelers would be either. And also, I think the Falcons are, number one, looking for cap relief, right? And they want to do that. And if the Browns and Steelers don't offer that, they could look to the Vikings. But, of course, the trump card in all this is Cousins having that no trade clause. He can veto basically anything. So, kind of comes down to Cousins, right? But, of course, if Russini is saying that the Vikings are the least likely, that means that 100% Kurt is returned to the Vikings, as the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. And hey, we need to come to grips that Kirk Cousins will be the Vikings' backup quarterback. I don't know, but like I said, there's a lot of hurdles. The contract, the compensation, the Cousins no trade clause. Would Kurt acquiesce? Be like, I'm quarterback 2 to J.J. McCarthy, and I accept that role. We'll see. But obviously, there's still a relationship there between Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins. But we'll see what happens at the end of the day. I would put it at right now, I would say it's 20% that Kurt ends up being the backup quarterback for the Vikings, just because there's so many variables and they all have to go right. So I guess we'll see. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Dianna Russini, who's always right about the Vikings quarterback situation, chimes in on the Vikes and Kurt potential reunion. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best to do. Skol, production value.